Hi everyone, welcome back. So today's video is going to be a little bit different than normal. It's more of a follow-on video, an update from the first two videos that are on my channel. They're all about my acoustic neuroma, which is a type of brain tumour that I was diagnosed with coming up to 7 years ago and had it operated on to remove it coming up to 6 years ago. So might not be of any interest to you, but I know that there are other people going through the same sort of things that do watch these videos, so I thought I would do an update on that. So as I say, coming up to 6 years ago in November, I had my acoustic neuroma removed, or the majority of it removed. It was quite a large tumour, and they only removed most of it and left some of it because with these types of tumours they sit very, very close to the facial nerve and a lot of the time attach onto the facial nerve. And if you obviously start playing around with the facial nerve, it's a very, very delicate nerve, as most nerves are, and it can cause paralysis in the face if you mess around with it too much. So they left part of the tumour on the facial nerve and part of it on my brain stem, and the plan is that if they leave bits of the tumour in, they're supposed to monitor it you know, for however long it needs to be monitored for, life if necessary, a few years if not. And what's happened with me is that I had a post-op scan 6 months after the operation and didn't hear anything back from the hospital. Next time I went to my GP, I just said, oh, have you got the results from the scan? And they said, yeah, everything was fine with it, not a problem. I said, okay, when do I need to go back? Oh no, they don't need to see you again. So I was like, brilliant. It must have been looking so good on the scan that they don't need to see me again. Didn't think anything of it. Then, as I explained in my second acoustic neuroma video, my uncle also got diagnosed with an acoustic neuroma. Now he is my blood relative, he's my mum's brother, and these types of tumours, from what we've both been told, are quite rare. So that is currently being looked at. I've been tested genetically and I have a fault in one of my genes. At the time they thought that that probably didn't have anything to do with the tumour, it was probably a coincidence that I had this fault. But what they're now going to do is test my uncle as well to see whether he also has this faulty gene, and then maybe look into whether or not this fault in the gene has caused us both to have these types of tumours, or this type of tumour. So in one of his post-op things, his operation was a good few years ago now, he had another post-op appointment in February where he again mentioned me, and the surgeon was like, right, let me just have a look at a file, and realised that I hadn't had my proper aftercare. I hadn't been monitored the way I was supposed to have been monitored. So they asked my uncle for me to get in touch with them, asked him to tell me to get in touch. But they also, my uncle and his sister, my youngest auntie, updated the hospital with my new address because I've moved in the 6 years since I've had my operation. So I eventually got a letter through. Oh sorry, apologise, no I didn't. At first I had a phone call from my old GP, the GP that I was at when I had the operation. Have since moved, so changed doctors, and it was the surgery manager phoning to say they'd had a letter from Neuro, which is where I had the operation, basically saying that they've been trying to get in touch with me and that I need to go for an MRI and whatnot. So I've been trying to ring them anyway, couldn't get through on the number that I was given to ring. So the manager of the surgery said that she would fax over my new details, so my new address, which they should have already had because my auntie had updated it with the surgeon who'd done it on the system there and then, And she also forwarded on my new GP's details as well, and obviously let them know that she had contacted me about it. So about a week later, I got my appointment letter through for an MRI scan, which I had in March, and then I got a letter through a couple of weeks later for an appointment to see the surgeon, which was in July 25th. Now, the week before the appointment, my uncle then received a letter asking him to ask me again to get in touch with him because I hadn't had an MRI and I needed an appointment. So I phoned them up, managed to get through. At this point, I was fuming because I was just like, not only have you missed me for the last 6 years, you're now sending letters here, there and everywhere, even though you've already sent letters to my actual address. So I was just like, what the hell is going on? Phoned up and I just said, my uncle's had this letter through asking me to go for an MRI and saying that I need to have an appointment. I had an MRI in March and I've got an appointment next week. So lady checks and she, oh yeah, you're in. Appointment's still there. It'd be nice to see you. I know the surgeon's looking forward to seeing you, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. So I was like, well, I'm just a bit concerned. You've sent out this letter saying that I haven't had an card got full and then my battery died. So when I was up to, she said, yeah, that was fine. And I was like, well, I'm just a bit concerned that you actually haven't got my MRI results if you're writing to my uncle saying that I haven't had an MRI. And she said, no, it's there, it's fine. So my mum and Paul came with me to the appointment. It was me and my mum that went in to see the surgeon. She said, oh, you know, your face looks fine, everything. Have you been feeling, have you had any issues, all that jazz. Then she got my MRI scans up. So there was 3 scans. The scan from before the operation where the tumour was 37 millimetres. Then there was one, the 6 months post-op scan, and I've forgotten how big that was. And then my March scan, which I think is either 26 or 27 millimetres. So basically what's happened is I've gone unmonitored for near 6 years and my tumour has grown back again to a size that I need to have the operation again. It's too large and it's also covered in cysts. The last one also had a cyst, but it's got more cysts on it, so I don't qualify for radiotherapy, so I've got to go through that whole operation again. And I mean, some people are like, well, you know, you've been there before, so you know what to expect, so you know you'll be all right. But it's because I've been there before and I do know what to expect and I know how much pain I'm going to be in and stuff like that. So the first week, I'd say, after they told me it had grown back, I was upset and I was getting upset about it quite easily. But now I'm just absolutely furious, so angry that I'm having to be put through this again and potentially, you know, I keep thinking I can't get lucky twice. I can't get lucky twice with my face. So, you know, I'm due to get married in 2 years' time. And I'm just thinking, I need to get this operation done now so that I've at least got some time and a bit of chance to work on my face if, you know, it does end up, you know, dropping. I'm so annoyed. So annoyed. I'm hoping, because obviously I've still got a hole in my head. They don't put the skull back. It would be, I mean, I think they used to do that. I think they used to put the skull back with that medical like glue. but it used to cause people a lot of pain and stuff. So what they've done with me, and I assume they do with a lot of people now, is when it's behind the ear, they leave the hole and then take fat out of your stomach, and I've got plenty of that, so it's fine, and fill the hole in, because it's very unlikely that you're going to do any damage to yourself. So I'm hoping, because the hole's already there, you know, they've been in there before, that I won't be under as long, because a lot of the issues that I had, particularly straight after the operation coming round and stuff, was because I'd been under for a lot longer than they were expecting. I was under for 14 hours. They had to put me on a ventilator, and my tonsils are ginormous, horrible beasts, and there just mustn't have been much room, and my throat was so unbelievably sore. And then because of all the anaesthetic, it was the first time I'd ever had a general anaesthetic, and I puking up, so then my throat was hurting, and I was like, ugh. So I'm hoping, because the hole's already there, they've been in before, that I won't be under as long. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video for, you know, other people. If you're not hearing back from the hospital after you've had your operation, chase them up. Don't let them forget about you. Do not let this happen to yourself. And if this has happened to you, if you have had to have further treatment, particularly the operation, let me know down below how you got on, what it was like the second time round, because I would be very interested to know. So yeah, that is it for this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, then please subscribe. Bye!